What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here, and yesterday we got the reveal of flashback tapes and flashback levels for Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, which potentially puts a hole in my theory I came up with a year ago, and just refreshed on a couple videos ago. Now I'm recording this video first thing in the morning, and there's supposed to be a Toys for Bob interview today from what I heard, so if there's anything else that comes out about flashback levels or this theory that I don't discuss today, then you know why. For those who don't know, my theory was on how the Evolvo-Ray worked. Because initially, everyone just seemed to go along with the idea that Crash was originally just a regular Bandicoot down on all fours, like a normal animal and everything, before the Evolvo-Ray. And my theory was that Crash was actually already an anthropomorphic bipedal Looney Tunes-esque character before the Evolvo-Ray, and that the Evolvo-Ray was simply meant to enhance speed and strength, and not actually change the shape of the creature or character it was working on. And the whole reason I came up with that theory is because it's pretty much impossible for every single animal character in the Crash Bandicoot universe to be a result of Cortex's experiments. They had to have always been characters standing on 2 feet, wearing clothes, and talking like people. I was just trying to fill a plot hole on if everyone was a mutant or not. So as you can probably tell now, these recently announced flashback tapes and flashback levels could potentially put a massive hole in this theory. So this video is meant to be a more quick and detailed refresher rather than just a quick rundown that I gave in the previous Crash video I made. Anyways, let's dive in. Even all the way back in the first game with Crash Bandicoot himself, my theory is supported. The entire game opens up with Crash being zapped by the Evolvo-Ray, but as we can see before it happens when he's laying there on the table, he's still already an anthropomorphic Looney Tunes-esque character. Now you could chalk that up to technical limitations at the time, not being able to have a regular Bandicoot model transform into Crash, but they kept it the same in the Insane trilogy. Now I've had some people respond to this saying, oh, well, maybe he already got zapped once before off-screen before the cutscene started and we just didn't see. But those are just baseless headcanons and assumptions out of nowhere. Not only is there no evidence supporting that, but there's evidence against it. The evidence is Ripperoo. You see, the reason Ripperoo is the way that he is because he actually got zapped twice by the Evolvo-Ray, which turned him insane and turned him blue. In case you haven't noticed, Crash isn't blue, and it was the Cortex Vortex failing that turned Crash insane, not the Evolvo-Ray. So there were no extra Evolvo-Ray zaps that Crash took off-screen before the cutscene starts. This is the first zap, and we can see that he's already an anthropomorphic bipedal Looney Tunes-esque character before it. Also, the extra Evolvo-Ray zap didn't change Ripperoo's shape at all. He's not some extra mutated super strong kangaroo, he's still a scrawny cartoon character. He's just blue now too. Bam! Theory supported. What else we got? Well, how about Tana and Pinstripe, because neither of them went through the Evolvo-Ray. Don't worry, it's pretty simple to explain. For Tana, the whole point of the game is rescuing her before she gets experimented on. After all, when Crash escapes, Cortex says prepare the female Bandicoot, which means she hasn't been tested at all yet. But she's already an anthro character. Theory supported. Now, I've had some people who disagree with this theory respond to that saying that they just evolved her before Crash and the cutscene started, and then they were just preparing her for the brainwashing. But that makes no sense. Why would they split her experiment in half and do all of Crash's experiments in between it? There's no real rhyme or reason for that, and people are just grasping at straws to disprove the theory. Next up is Pinstripe. Not only do we get a tiny tidbit of support for my theory at the beginning of the Insane trilogy opening because we can see Pinstripe's opposable thumbs through the cage. Why would he have regular thumbs if he was just a normal Potoroo? But the fact that he's even in the cage still supports my theory as well, because Crash is being experimented on, Tana's up next being prepared, and Pinstripe's still in the cage. So clearly their experimentation order is Crash, Tana, Pinstripe, but since Crash broke the Cortex Vortex, they had to halt all experiments. Meaning Tana and Pinstripe never went through the Evolvo-Ray, because again, why split the experiment in half and make them stronger if they weren't ready to be brainwashed and put under your control yet? This also explains why Pinstripe uses a Tommy gun instead of his own strength like the other bosses, because he never got a strength boost from the Evolvo-Ray. He needed a weapon to take on Crash, so bam! Tana and Pinstripe, also evidence. They never went through the Evolvo-Ray, yet they're still bipedal anthropomorphic Looney Tunes characters. Not to mention the fact that Pinstripe is also a mob boss and has an entire gang. Where did they all come from? Theory supported. And my final point is every other animal character in the entire series. There's Pasadena. There's Viscount. There's the Nitro Squad because Oxide's appearance in Twinsanity confirms CTR is canon. Also in Twinsanity, we have Rusty Walrus and Farmer Ernest. It's impossible for them to have been mutated because Cortex was frozen for 3 years prior. I've had the evil twins pointed out to me before because they were regular birds and got zapped with the Evolvo-Ray and now they're evil and mutated. But go back and refresh your Twinsanity memory. The evil twins explain it themselves. The Evolvo-Ray never changed or mutated them. It sent them to the 10th dimension. It was the harsh and negative conditions of the 10th dimension that they got sent to that warped their minds and changed them. It's just completely impossible for every cartoony animal character in the Crash Bandicoot universe to be a result of Cortex's experiments. They had to have always been that way, including our heroes Crash and Coco. So my theory still stands. The purpose of the Evolvo-Ray was nothing more than to enhance physical characteristics like speed and strength. It didn't change the characters into the way they are now. They were always like that. But now there's one final question that needs answering. If Crash and Coco and everyone else were already anthropomorphic bipedal Looney Tunes-esque characters from the start, then why are there still regular animals in the world? And the answer is, there just are. It's completely normal for them to coexist. I mean, look at the Sonic games. They're full of anthropomorphic crazy-looking characters, but they still have completely regular animals too. In fact, Sonic is part of Crash's inspiration, as well as Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse cartoons, which also have the same thing going on, with cartoony bipedal anthropomorphic dogs like Goofy and then regular dogs like Pluto. It's not unheard of, and it's perfectly fine for these two types of different animals, cartoony and regular, to coexist. They don't need any extra explanations, and my theory still stands completely fine. Now, the whole flashback levels and flashback tapes and everything that Crash 4 is implementing could completely disprove this theory, and that's alright. I'm not gonna get mad if my theory's wrong. I mean, that's the whole point of a theory. It's nothing confirmed. It's just using facts and evidence to try and explain something that hasn't been explained yet. But if they do decide to prove me wrong by making Crash and Coco completely regular Bandicoots before the Evolvo-Ray, then I hope they're ready to have a lot of plot holes to fill. Anyways, what do you guys think? Is my theory pretty sound, or do you have some things to disprove me? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Leopold the Brave, out.